I was attracted to Clemson because of the family environment. When I stepped on campus, I just felt at home, and it just seemed like a place where I could succeed.
When I visited Clemson, it was my dream school, had everything I wanted, so it was pretty easy from that point.
Pretty much the second we stepped foot on Bowman, I was like, well, this is it. And over the next 2 years, I toured 18 different schools, trying to kind of get that feeling again, and I never did, so it was kind of just Clemson the whole way through.
What really attracted me to Clemson was one, a really good engineering program. I'm an industrial engineering major.
Clemson is also very strong in the physical sciences, and they also have a great athletic program, and I just wanted to be a part of that.
I think what brings Clemson apart is that it has a great engineering school, but also the professors and the people really care about you, which professors know your name. They know what you do outside of school, and I think that really was the big difference between Clemson and the other schools.
One of the things that I loved the most about Clemson was the amazing resources that they had for the students.
I really got that, feeling like they really cared about me as a student and not just another number.
That kind of combination of having this great sense of community while letting people pursue their individual passions, whatever gets them up in the morning, was what ultimately drew me to Clemson.
I've done a couple of different research projects in my time at Clemson. The main professor that I've really gotten mentored by is Dr. Marion Kennedy. I got to actually cast an aluminum alloy to study the effects of neutron radiation.
Under Dr. Dean, I participated on a research team for her bioinstrumentation class, and we were honored to be named one of the top 6 teams in the United States as a national design competition finalist for the Biomedical Engineering Society.
I've worked in the environmental engineering labs here for 3 years now. We're looking at the state of the grand challenges. So my personal challenge is providing access to clean water. I sort of try to tailor around that so that when I graduate, I'm going to be uniquely suited to solve these issues.
The creative inquiry, I've been involved in ChemiCar, which is a very good experience. So you try to create a car that runs purely on chemical reactions. Really cool to be able to see how the application works towards the real world.
So for undergraduate research, I actually am involved in 2 projects. One is with Dr. Rukov in the Bioengineering department. We are working to make mobile health devices. Another project is with Dr. Hoover in the computer engineering department. This project is a byte counter, so it's something you wear on your wrist like a watch, and it will count how many bites you take for tracking eating habits.
The research I've done has been with Clemson engineers for developing countries. And I've worked with Dr. Jeff Plumley, David Vaughn, and Dr. Jennifer Ogle looking at a variety of things from student learning outcomes all the way to the success of aquaculture facilities in Haiti.
I'm working in Dr. Sarah Lou Riggs' cognitive ergonomics lab, trying to maximize different methods to help the military fly multiple UAVs in the most effective possible way.
I've been lucky enough at Clemson to be able to go abroad a few times. I studied abroad in South Africa. We took classes on HIV and AIDS, economic inequality, and South African history. I've never been able to make it to South Africa without going with that Clemson group.
Last year, I went to Belize for 2 weeks working on a sustainability project with another PhD student at Clemson, Shakira Hobbs, in the civil engineering program. It was really an eye-opening experience to really spend 2 weeks in the community and really get to engage with them.
I spent about 7 months in Haiti. Great experience. I worked with CEDC while I was there. Totally changed my worldview and my perspective on not only my studies but also my entire life.
The single most significant event in my Clemson career would probably have to be the field experiences. I went to southern Utah and we studied rock formations in several different national parks. Then I came back to Clemson and participated in the hydrogeology field camp. I learned a lot of things that I will definitely use throughout my career.
The single most significant experience of my Clemson career was going to Belize, and that was made possible actually by individuals at Clemson. I spoke to Dean Gramapati about the project, and I spoke to Sarita Acker in the Pierre Wise office. They were able to provide the funds for me to go to Belize.
It's probably when I got my first paper published. That was really great to know that this is actually going somewhere and my work is actually accepted by the community.
So I have worked with Dr. Gregory Mako
with the Michelin Creative Inquiry, and where we work on industrial sustainability and working on seeing how the tires are more efficient in what processes they go through.
Dr. Dean is definitely one of the most inspiring people I've worked with at Clemson. Her energy, not only for bioengineering, but just for life and making the world a better place, definitely inspired me to stay with this field and keep with research.
Dr. David Friedman is our department chair, and I always say he's like my most inspiring person. If you say David Friedman's name in front of any undergraduate environmental engineer, they'll like turn to you and they want to be part of your conversation because they want to talk about how great he is. He's just like the most supportive person.
Has to be President Clements. So being a part of a big institution, you don't expect to get to know the president personally. I was president of the National Society of Black Engineers, and he always had a personal interest in seeing the organization succeed.
Jeff Plumley. He is a professor in the civil engineering department. After he got all of his degrees, he went out and worked in industry and then took the leap of faith to quit industry and come back to Clemson and start teaching, which is what he really loved to do, and is living proof of the success that you can find and the fulfillment that you can find from going off the path or doing what you really love.
Directly after I graduate, I'm hoping to be back out in Denver, Colorado at the National Renewable Energy Lab. I had the opportunity to intern there last summer, and I am planning to go back out and work with the Commercial Buildings Research Group.
I recently took a job as an engineering consultant in Midtown Atlanta, and I'll be taking graduate courses part-time at Georgia Tech.
I hope to become, work my way up in a company and become an environmental manager of some sort and oversee all the environmental aspects that go on throughout a company.
I'm looking right now to go into graduate school and either going into engineering, education, or human factors.
I'm applying to postdoc positions. I would really like to get a position in academia.
So after I get my bachelor's degree from Clemson, I plan to pursue a master's degree.
Just actually accepted an offer to go to graduate school in Colorado at the School of Mines for a PhD.
I would like to become a process engineer at a Fortune 500 company, whether that is Intel. This summer I'm interning at General Mills, so we'll see how that goes and I'll be able to gauge my interest.
I'd really love to go into technical sales or really anything in that kind of genre of work, because it kind of speaks to me, kind of being out of the office and then using my skills, but then also applying them to something completely brand new.
Whatever it is I do, it's going to be in the service of my community. Being a positive role model for people who look like me, kids who are coming out of poverty, kids who don't believe that they can be engineers or doctors or even going to go to college, to kind of be that positive role model for them. I know I'm going to do that.
Clemson is kind of a home to me, and I know for a lot of people that's kind of simple. To me, it's where I got to be who I wanted to be.
I think of Clemson, I think of that, the Clemson family that we talked about.
And that sounds corny, but I think it's pretty true. To me, it really has become somewhat of a family.
When I say I'm coming back for the semester, or I was coming back from Atlanta on co-op, I was coming home to Clemson.
You come here and you think you're going to grab a degree in a year and a half, and you're going to go back to Miami, and that's home. And then you meet so much great people, and it becomes a lot harder to leave.
It doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter what your major is, it doesn't matter your religion, political beliefs, anything. As long as you're wearing orange and you're a Tiger, you're my friend, you're my family member, and I think that's Clemson to me, just this family.